Welcome one and all. Using the following video, we are going to discuss the several topics under the course name Programming for Problem Solving in C. Welcome. Today we are going to discuss about control statements under the course Programming for Problem Solving in C. The prerequisite of this current topic is there must be some basic knowledge of problem solving technique is needed. Some basic knowledge of C programming about the syntax, about writing the coding will be needed. The objectives of today's session is we are going to discuss about control statements in C. In particular, we are going to discuss about the selection or control statements in C, if else, if, and nested if. In this session and in further following sessions, we are going to discuss about control statements in C. The control statements in C is classified into decision statement, looping statement, break and continue, case control structure, go to, and exit statement. Here each and every different type of statement is specifically for a different set of operation, so that it is divided separately here. In decision statement, we are going to take some decision. According to that, we are going to take the branching of the execution. For that, we are having if or if else. And for looping statement, we are going to repeat some statements again and again. Here we are having for, while, and do while. And then break and continue, which is used along with the looping structure or in any block of code to break your execution or continue your execution according to the given condition. And then we are having case control structure, and go to is an unconditional jump statement, and finally we are having a exit statement. So all these things comprises the control statements in C. C categorizes the statements into the following groups. First one is selection or control statements. Next one is iteration statement. Next one is jump statement. And the last is label statements. The selection or control statements, which consist of if and switch. And further, if is again consist of if, else if ladder, and then nested if. And then we are having switch statements also. These all comprises the selection or control statements. Next one is iteration statement, or otherwise it is called as looping statements. Here we are having for loop, while loop, and do while loop. Third one is jump statements, which makes you the program flow can jump from one place to another place. That means one part of the code to another part of the code. Here we are having break, continue, return, go to, and exit. And finally we are having a label statements called as case and default. We will see these each and every statements explained by different programs one by one. In selection or control statements, C supports two type of selection statements. One is if and switch, and one more additional operator is called as ternary operator, which is an alternate for the if in certain special circumstances. We will explain that using a program also. The if statement are further classified into if else, nested if, else if ladder, and then we are having the ternary operator that is for the alternate of the if else. This slide help you to understand the hierarchical manner representation of the various statements comes under decision making. The major division is if statement, and another one is switch statement. Under the if, we further classified those four type of statements. Those are if else, if, and next one is nested if. Here, the if statement consists of only the true statements according to the condition. If the condition is true, then this true block will be executed. There is no else class is given. In if else statement, in if statement the condition is true, it will execute the true part, else it will execute the false part. Both the true part and false part may consist of a single line statement or otherwise a set of statements. If it is a single line, there is no need for these curly braces, open and close. If it is a set of statement, then we need to accommodate those set of statement in the curly braces, open and close. This is applicable for all the block of statements under the switch, under the if else ladder, everywhere. And next one is if else if. It is mean by if else if ladder, since the construction of the if else if repetitive statements will forms a ladder like structure. That's why it is called as if else if ladder. Next one is nested if. In this picture you can see there is a if statement, and under the true part there is another if else statement is there, and for the first if statement there is a else statement is there. In this else also we are having another if else statement. Like this, one if else statement is the target of another if else statement. It is called as nested if. And last one is called as switch statement, the major category of decision making. Here we are having switch, case, break type of statement. So this will discuss at the time when we are discussing these switch statements. An example program for if statement is given here. The question is, write a C program to find the given number is even. So here we have to understand the user is going to give a number, and that number is need to be identified, either it is even, so that we are going to get the user value, and then what logic we can apply? We can divide the number by 2. If we got remainder, then it is a odd number. If it does not get a remainder, then it is a even number. So here what is our condition? We need to check whether it is a even number only, so that we choose the if statement alone. So go to the program. Here we are having a integer declaration of a variable. A is an integer variable, and then we are going to ask the user to enter a number, and then we are going to get the value in the variable a, and in the if statement we are divide the a value using the modulus operator by 2, and we are going to check whether it is equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, then it is an even number. So the true part of the if statement is given here. There is no else part is given. It is only going to check whether the given number is even, so that this satisfies the given question to find the given number is even. So the input output is given here. According to the given input, we can find out whether the given number is even. Another example for if statement is given here. In this program, the system is going to calculate a random number, and it is going to be stored in a particular variable, and then we ask the user to enter another value, and we are going to find out either the user can able to predict the system generated random value, and if it is correct, then we need to say that it is right. So here the only condition is we need to say either it is right, so that we choose the if statement here, and we go to the program. In that we are having another header file called stdlib.h. What is the requirement for that? Since we need to generate a random number, so that we are going to call a random function. So this random function which belongs to the stdlib.header file, so that we include that header file also in your top of your C program. Now we need two integer variables to hold the system generated value and then user predicting value, so that we are naming the variable as magic and guess. So int magic is there, int guess is there, and magic is equal to rand function. We are calling the rand function. So what is the use of this rand function? This will generate a value which is generated by the system itself. The user cannot able to know that, and then it is going to assign in the variable called magic, and then we are asking the user to enter another number called, which is going to store in the variable called guess. Now this user generated value is going to be equate with the system generated value, and then if both are equal, then we are going to say it is right. There is no else part is given, since our question is we need to use the if statement alone. Now we move to the next topic under the selection or control statement is if else statement. So here it is an extension for the if statement. Here we are having true part and also the false part also. See the flow chart, we are having a text expression, and then for the text expression we are having either true or false as the output. So for true we are going to execute the body part of the true part. For false we are going to execute the body part of the else part. And after executing any one of these block, we need to return to the flow of the execution after the if statement. The syntax is given here. If inside the bracket expression we need to execute the true statements, or else we need to execute the false statements, false block statements. And here the certain conditions are given here. If the expression is evaluated to true, then the statement or block that form as the target for the if is executed. Else the target of else will be executed. And either the statement may consist of a single statement or a block of statement, or sometimes it may not be nothing. As per your requirement, we can able to write the coding. And there is an example for if else is given. The question is write a C program to find the greatest among two numbers. We are going to get two numbers from the user and we are going to check it by means of the if statement, and if it is true, some decision will be taken. If it is false, some other decision will be taken. For that only we are having if else statement. Okay, now integer a comma b is declared and we are asking the user to enter number 1. It is going to be get and assign in the integer variable a, and then we are going to ask the user to enter the number b and it is going to assign, and it is going to be checked by means of a if statement if a is greater than b. Now what is the solution or what decision we are going to take? If a is greater than b, then a is the biggest number, else what happened? B will be the biggest number. So that we are constructing if statement, if else statement like this. If a is greater than b, print number 1 is greater, else number 2 is greater. The output is displayed like this. The two possible outputs is given. Enter the number 1 20 and number 2 is 10. So here number 1 is greater. And in the next run, in the next output we are having enter the number 1 is 10, enter number 2 is 20. So number 2 is greater. So two possible branches is traveled here, else true part and then else part. Here there is another example given for if else statement, which is in continuous with the if statement program finding the magic number or guessing the magic number. Here as per the same program, here also we are having int a magic number and then int a guess. Those two are the variables called integer variables, magic and guess. In magic we are going to assign a value which is calculated by the system itself automatically by means of calling the function called rand function. So this rand function belongs to the header file called stdlib, which is included in the second line of your program. So this rand function, once you call, it will create a random number automatically. It will guess a random number automatically, and then it is now assigned to the variable, integer variable called magic. Now we are going to ask the user to enter a magic number. So that magic number is going to be stored in the variable called guess. Now the user predicted value and then the system predicted value, both are going to be matched together or equate together by means of a if statement, and this is going to be verified. If it is true, then we are going to execute the true statement of the if. If it is false, we need to execute the false block of the if statement, that is the else part. Here you can see there is no curly braces associated with the true part and false part. Why? Since we are executing only one statement in the true part and only one statement in the false part. There is no need for the curly braces for the true block and the false block. Only one statement we can directly given. Print right, else print wrong. Automatically it will take any one of the branch and then it will execute the answer and it will come out of the program. Now we move on to the next topic under the selection or control statements is nested if statement. So what is the meaning of nested if statement? Already we have discussed. One if statement is going to target another if statement in its true part or false part. That is the meaning of nested if statement. So here in the flowchart you can see there is a test expression, and for the true part we are having a set of statements to be executed for the true part. In the false part you can see there is another nested test expression is there. For this also we are separately having a true part or false part, and for this true statement and for this false statement we can have further nested if statements. In this flowchart it is given one if statement. In the false part it is targeting another if statement. This is called as nested if. So the definition is given. A nested if is an if that is the target of another if else. In a nested if, an else statement always refers to the nearest if statement that is within the same block as the else and that is not already associated with an else statement. An example of nested if is given. Write a C program to find the grade of students. So here you are going to find out the grade of student by using nested if. So the user is asked to enter a mark. The user is entering some marks. It is going to store in the integer variable I. If I is greater than 0, then we are going to start execution. The true part of that first if statement target to another if statement. If I is greater than or equal to 60, then we declare the student secure first class. Else another if statement is there. If I is greater than equal to 45 and I is less than 60, then the student secure second class. Else, what is the meaning? The student secure fail mark. Here you can see there is a if statement if I is greater than 0. In the true part we are having another if statement, and in that else part we are having another if statement, and finally we are having an else statement. Like this, one if else statement is nested into another if else. So that is the meaning of nested if statement. The three possible input is given here, input output is given here. So this is how we have to check all the possible input output is verified. Here there is another example for nested if statement is given, which is in continuation for the magic number prediction program. Already we have discussed in the if statement and if else statement. Here some extension of the same program is given to implement the concept called nested if. Already we know that what is nested if. One if statement, true part or else part, is targeting the another if statement. That is the meaning for nested if. So here as usual we are going to get two variable magic and guess is an integer variable, and then using the random method or function, random function, we are going to generate a random value and then store it in the variable called magic, and ask the user to enter a number that is going to store in the variable called guess, and now guess is going to equate with the magic value, that is the system generated value. Okay, now if the two values are equal, then we are going to execute this true block of the if statement. So we are going to print the value is right, and then we are going to print the what is that exact magic number. In the else part we have to implement the nested if statement here. In the else part, you can see it is going to print the value is wrong, and then again we are having a if statement. In that if statement, again we are having a true statement and also a false statement for that. Here we are going to guess whether the guess number is going to greater than magic or less than magic. So that we are going to take another branch of statement here. This is called as one if statement target another if statement in its true part or else part. That constitute a concept called as nested if. Now we move on to the next topic under the selection or control statement is the if else if ladder. So what is the meaning of this ladder here? The construction of these if else if statements is repeatedly given here. It's which appear to be a staircase like structure or a ladder like structure. That's why it is called as if else if ladder. You can see the algorithm. We are having a condition 1. For this condition 1, there is a true part, so that we are having a set of statement called statement 1, and in the false part we are having another condition 2. For this also we are having a true part, so that we are having statement 2 set of statements. Else in the false part we are having another condition, likewise it will go on, and finally we are having a separate else for the entire if else if ladder. In the syntax you can see the same set of design is given here. If expression statement, that means the true statement, else another if expression statement, else another if expression statement, likewise it will go on. At last we are having a separate else statement for the entire if else if ladder. Sometimes it is called as if else if staircase also because of its appearance, and while discussing the program we can see the same structure of if else if ladder. There are certain points given for the if else if ladder. So the points we need to remember is the if else if ladder will always evaluate from the top down approach only. It will not execute from the bottom up approach. First if statement is executed, according to that what is the decision taken, according to that the program flow will be there. So it is called as top down approach. And as soon as a true condition is found, the statement belongs to the true condition will execute, and then the rest of the if else ladder will be get bypassed, so that only one true statement will be executed. Remaining statements will not be considered. And then next point given is if no such condition are true, then there is a final else part is there. The else condition is there. It will be evaluated, executed. That is, all the test condition is fails, there must be a last else statement is need to be executed. And if the last else statement is not present, that means the user is not given any else statement, then no action will be taken. Your if else ladder will be get bypassed. An example program for if else ladder is given here. If else if, that is a format. Here we are declaring a variable I, and then we are ask the user to enter a number to check. So the user is going to enter some value that is going to be scanned in the I. If I is equal to 0, the number is 0, that is printed in the true part. If it is finished, then it will come out of the program. Else we are having another if statement. Else if I is greater than 0 and I modulo 2 is equal to 0, then that particular number is even number. Else if I is greater than 0 and I modulo 2 is equal to 1, then the particular number is odd number. For all this if true part, the number is not satisfied, then in the final else statement we are having the number is less than 0. The all possible input output is checked here. There are 4 type of input output we can check here according to our if else ladder. First one we are giving 100, so the number is even is printed. In the second run I am giving the number is 151, so the number is odd is printed. and in the third run I am giving enter the number to check, I am giving 0, so that the number is 0 is printed, and in fourth run I am giving minus 30, so the number less than 0 is printed. So all the possible if else ladder statements are analyzed here according to this input. Another example for if else if ladder is given here, which is an extension of the magic number program, which we was already discussed in if else and nested if. Here the same program is just modified for construction of if else if ladder. So the random number function is called, and then the value is assigned to the magic, and then user is given a value that is assigned to the guess, and in the if statement we are going to equate the guess with the magic. If both are equal, then it is right, and then the magic number is displayed. Else if we are going to check whether the guessed number is greater than the magic number. If it is wrong, we will say it is a wrong number, but it is too high. Else, in the else part we are saying it is wrong, it is too low. Here you can see we are construct a if statement true part, and then we are formed a else if statement, and then finally we are having a else statement. So according to your program flow, this program will take the if true part once, or otherwise it will take the else if true part, or otherwise it will take the else part. And we are going for the ternary statement. Similar to if else statement, as it does follow the same algorithm for ternary operator also. The ternary operator having a shortest method of implementing the if else statement. The syntax is given: variable is equal to expression 1 question mark expression 2 colon expression 3, which is equivalent to the following code. If expression 1 in the true part variable is equal to expression 2, else part variable is equal to expression 3. So that is the meaning for this ternary operator. Its equivalent code is given here, if else part. So the expression 1 mean for the condition you need to check. Expression 2 meant for the true part. Expression 3 meant for the else part. An example for the ternary statement is given here. Here two variables are declared, n1 and n2, and the values are assigned here. For n1 it is 5, for n2 it is 10, and we are having another variable called max. What is our target is we need to find out the maximum among these two numbers using a ternary statement. So now we are construct here max is equal to, what is our expression? 1 is n1 is greater than n2, that is our expression 1. Question mark n1 colon n2. So what is the meaning for this one for the ternary operator statement? Expression 1 is evaluated, and then according to this expression 1 output, if it is true we need to take the expression 2. If it is false we need to take the expression 3. So that n1 stands in the expression 2 and n2 stands in the expression 3. So according to your given value, n1 is 5 and then n2 is 10. Now we are going to check in the expression 1, in the checking condition we are checking n1 is greater than n2, that is 5 is greater than n2. We are having false in this condition, so that this ternary operator tends to select the n2 here, that is stands in the expression 3, so that your output will come like this: largest number between 5 and 10 is 10. This printout statement, which is designed to print the n1 in this percentage d and n2 in this percentage d and max in this percentage d. So these are delimiters which is used to print the value according to the given variable. The references is listed here. Thank you for watching the video. The contact details of myself is given here. For further clarification, you can contact me in the following mail ID at any time. Thank you for watching the video.